1923 actor's Alex Dutton comeback idea could actually work in Taylor Sheridan's next Yellowstone prequel. Here's how. Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlapfer teased Alex Dutton's comeback in 1923, and it could genuinely work. In 1923 Season 2's finale, Alex Dutton meets her fate. Spencer's wife dies of complications from hypothermia caused by getting frostbite after being stranded on the side of the road in Episode 6. Despite her husband serendipitously passing on the train and rescuing her from her harrowing predicament, the medical treatment she received wasn't enough to save Alexa's life, and she opted to stay and comfort her baby rather than undergo amputation of her hand and legs. Alexa's death adds to the list of shocking Dutton family deaths, and hers is one of the saddest. Alexa's ending in 1923 pretty much effectively rules out more of Spencer and Alex's romance, which was a highlight of 1923 Season 1. Taylor Sheridan has teased a continuation of Yellowstone titled 1944, which would presumably pick up amid World War II. Spencer Dutton will most likely helm the prequel, though it's unclear if Sklenar will be considered to reprise the role. It's more likely that Schlapfer joins the show, and Brandon Sklenar knows just how to include Alex in 1944. The prospect of including Alex in Sheridan's next Yellowstone prequel might seem far-fetched after her 1923 Season 2 fate, but the idea could actually work, especially as Sklenar pitched it. In an interview with Screen Rant, talking about the future of the franchise, Sklenar and Schlapfer revealed their idea for Alex to come back as a ghost in 1944. Sklenar revealed they wanted Alex to come back and haunt Spencer. He envisioned Alexandra interacting with Spencer in the most beautiful way, rather than in a spooky manner. Schlapfer was mostly on board, noting Alex would have a few pranks for Spencer. While it may seem idealistic to bring Alex back, Sheridan has incorporated beloved Yellowstone characters after their deaths. For instance, Spencer's sister returns to narrate 1923 after Elsa Dutton died in 1883. The screenwriter could similarly bring Alex back, emulating Elsa's omniscient presence. Furthermore, Spencer's wife returns in Spencer and Alex's Titanic-style ending, proving that Alex is not confined to her 1923 timeline in the Yellowstone universe. It would be wise to bring Alex back since, similarly to Elsa, Spencer's wife endeared herself to fans, and they didn't want to see her story end. It wasn't just Alex and Spencer's stories that audiences loved. Schlapfer and Sklenar's performances as the star-crossed lovers were a standout for the franchise, so it makes sense to work the actors into the next prequel. Sklenar could get by playing Spencer in his 50s, changing some of his physical characteristics to appear a bit older. Sheridan likely has an older actor in mind for Spencer 20 years later, but Sklenar's comments confirm he's open to continuing the part. Sklenar could also appear in flashbacks, explaining how things evolved as Spencer took ownership of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. If 1944 opts to include Schlapfer as Alexandra in some way, the story could preempt Alex and Spencer's 1923 epilogue, setting up their ethereal connection. Alex died young, at age 23, and including her in 1944 could lean into her timelessness. The supernatural element, introducing Alex as a ghost or spirit or memory, could even be a factor in Spencer successfully running the ranch through the Great Depression, leaning on his late wife's memory for strength. While Alex and Spencer can't star in their own Yellowstone spin-off now, at least Alex has the possibility of transcending her awful 1923 fate. The Dutton universe is nothing if not ripe with legend, legacy, and loss. Taylor Sheridan has built a Western empire by unraveling the complex tapestry of the Dutton family, one generation at a time, From the ranch's origins in 1883 to the global conflicts shaping 1923. But amid the grit, gunpowder, and generational trauma, one actor's quiet disappearance from the narrative has fans wondering, could Alex Dutton return? Alex, played by Julia Schlapfer, is half of 1923's most romantic and emotionally gripping storyline. Her whirlwind romance with Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklenar, captivated audiences with its blend of old-school elegance and primal urgency. Their love story, sweeping from Kenya to the high seas, was both cinematic and mythic, a rare bright spot in a world so often stained by blood. But as 1923 gears up for its second season, speculation swirls around how the narrative will continue and whether Alexa's story has more to give. The answer might lie not in 1923, but in Taylor Sheridan's next Yellowstone prequel. And here's the kicker, it could actually work. 1. The Dutton timeline is built for echoes. One of Sheridan's greatest tools is his manipulation of time. He doesn't just tell stories chronologically, he weaves in motifs, themes, and echoes between generations. Alex, though seemingly just a European socialite swept up in the American frontier myth, is more than a love interest. She's an anchor to Spencer's humanity, a character with the potential to reshape Dutton legacy through her own choices, family, and culture. But what if her story doesn't end in 1923? What if we see a future prequel, say 1944, where the children of Spencer and Alex play a pivotal role in the next chapter of the Dutton saga? Through them, Alexa's presence could be resurrected, not in a resurrection sense, but in the way that legacy imprints itself on bloodlines. A flashback device, with Julia Schlapfer returning in key scenes, could show pivotal moments in the couple's early ranch life, moments that shaped their children. Her aristocratic demeanor contrasting with a harsh Montana frontier would make for a rich, layered character arc worth revisiting. 2. Alexa's London lineage could fuel political intrigue. We know Taylor Sheridan loves to weave real historical elements into his work. 1923 addressed the Great Depression, Prohibition, and World War I trauma. If we shift forward to the World War II era in the next prequel, Alexa's lineage as a noblewoman from London could become deeply relevant. Imagine a storyline where her ties to British aristocracy create tension as America enters the war. Perhaps her family back in the UK seeks refuge on the Dutton Ranch, bringing international politics to Montana soil. This would set the stage for espionage, loyalty tests, and even moral dilemmas for her children, torn between American nationalism and British legacy. Julia Schlapfer's return in this kind of flashback or parallel storytelling arc could show how Alex made sacrifices during the war, even acting as a liaison or spy, something entirely plausible given her intelligence, charm, and access. Think Downton Abbey meets Yellowstone. 3. Alex and Spencer's lost years. There's still a massive storytelling gap between 1923 and John Dutton ID's reign in Yellowstone. Where were Spencer and Alex in the 1940s? Did they raise their children in Montana, or did they return to Europe? Did the ranch reject them or welcome them with open arms? There's so much we don't know, and that's where Julia Schlapfer's comeback gets interesting. A prequel set in the 1940s or 50s could explore the consequences of Spencer's departure from the ranch and how his return, with Alex in tow, changed everything. It could also showcase how they helped, or failed, to preserve the land during war rationing, economic strain, and encroaching modernization. Alex, as an outsider turned Dutton matriarch, is uniquely positioned to act as a bridge between the old world and the new, a voice of compassion in a family often defined by stoicism and violence. Schlapfer's nuanced performance, blending softness with steel, deserves a chance to show how that transformation played out over decades. 4. The Dutton women deserve center stage. So far, the Dutton women, from Margaret in 1883 to Kara in 1923, and of course Beth in Yellowstone, have each brought a different kind of fire. Margaret was the moral compass, Kara the strategist, Beth the fierce protector. Alex is a fresh archetype, the romantic-turned realist. Her return would enrich the lineage of strong Dutton women. It would also allow the next prequel to explore motherhood in a way we haven't fully seen yet. What kind of mother would Alex be? Would she shield her children from the ranch's darker impulses, or train them to survive? There's immense storytelling potential in watching her navigate the expectations of being a Dutton wife, while holding on to the identity she once had, a woman of high society who chose love over comfort. Through her, we could see the origin of many values that echo in characters like Beth decades later. 5. The Sheridan touch. Taylor Sheridan rarely lets a compelling character fall to the wayside. If fan enthusiasm and actor availability align, he's known for bringing people back, sometimes in surprising, genre-defying ways. Just ask Jimmy from the bunkhouse, who got a full Yellowstone spin-off arc. With Julia Schlapfer's rising star, it's not far-fetched to think he'd want to reintegrate Alex into the saga. Whether through dual timelines, flashbacks, or even a storyline where a granddaughter mirrors her choices, there's space for Schlapfer to shape the Dutton mythos even further. Final thoughts. Alex Dutton's story is far from over, at least it shouldn't be. With her poise, passion, and powerful chemistry with Spencer, she left an indelible mark on 1923. But perhaps that's just the beginning.